Tiffany Ponce. How you doing today, Tiffany?
Very well, thank you.
Excellent. Thanks for coming out and doing this interview with us.
Oh, thank you for having me.
Right off the bat, for those unfamiliar with your music, tell them a little bit about it.
Oh, well, I come from kind of the old school 80s, 90s R&B. That's where I come from. That's where all my inspirations come from, like Janet Jackson, Tamia, Aaliyah, TLC, those kinds of artists. So you'll hear a lot of influences of that in the music, as well as, splashes of pop in there, because I also come from kind of a pop background as well. Can't deny that. Yeah.
What made you pick music as a creative outlet?
Music was just always in the house growing up. I took piano, like my brother and my sister and I, we all took piano. I went up to grade 8 Royal Conservatory for piano, and we were all in band. I played the trumpet. And just my older sister, like she would always have like these mixtapes, all these cassette tapes, and I would just kind of steal them and bring them into my room, and that's kind of where it all started. I'd be singing along to the music, and so it was always a part of my life. And then in high school, that's where I really started to use it as an outlet. Like I started choreographing my own like hip-hop dance routines, performing in the musicals, the talent shows, things like that. So, yeah.
How long would you say you've been making your own music?
It would be about 3.5 years now. It was late 2008 where I performed my own music in front of people for the first time. It was an urban open mic night, and I remember being so nervous because, for years I'd been doing theater, doing the wedding singer thing, and so it was a big deal to be performing music that I had written in front of people. So yeah, that's been about 3.5 years now. So.
What about your music makes it stand out?
Well, like I said, I kind of come from, the old school 80s, 90s R&B, and there isn't too much of that out right now. So production-wise, I think it stands out in that sense, as well as, there's a mix of pop in there, like I said, as well. And just lyrically, I'm writing, things about things that are true to myself, things I've experienced and things that I believe in, and I think that will shine through. Like if everything I'm writing about is real, Yeah.
What kind of impression would you like a listener to have the first time they hear your music?
Basically, I just want people to come on a journey with me. This first EP, people are going to feel all the things I was feeling when I wrote it, when I recorded it. So, feelings of hope, feelings of, longing, love, sadness, and overcoming all those obstacles, and, coming out stronger in the end, and that's basically what I want people to feel. Of course, I want them bobbing their heads in their cars, and, we're here on Corydon Avenue right now in Winnipeg, with the windows down, blasting those, some of the more up-tempo songs. That'd be great too, but, basically I just want people to feel, what I was feeling when I created these songs.
Now, you've got an album release coming out soon. Do you want to tell us a little bit about it?
I do. Friday, April 27th at Spin Martini Bar. It's here in Winnipeg at 720 Corydon Avenue. And it's amazing. We are actually pretty much sold out, and the response has just been overwhelming. I'm in the process of planning a second show, actually, probably a couple weeks after that. So, it's just going to be a great time. It's been a long time coming, so... But yet, only the beginning.
So, only the beginning. It comes out on the 27th.
Yes.
How long did it take you to create the album?
I would say it was about a 1.5 year long process. From the time that we recorded the first track, maybe a little less than that, about that time frame though. From the time we recorded the first track and then finished the last track and then doing all the mastering and all that. Yeah, it was probably about a 1.5 years. Yeah.
What was the first CD you ever bought?
First CD I ever bought? And are we talking CDs or are we talking cassette tapes? Because I'm probably aging myself right now, but... I can't really recall the first that I ever bought, but like I said earlier, I would, steal my sister's cassette tapes and bring them to my room, and, people may laugh at this, but, Debbie Gibson, that I can probably say those were probably the first tapes that I ever listened to, and she was an inspiration back then, because to this day, she still holds the record. the youngest artist ever to record, write, produce, and record her own album. At 16 years old, she did that. So back when I was, a little girl, I thought that was an amazing thing. Like, I strive to do that one day. And, I'm not on the production side yet, but who knows?
Now, aside from Debbie Gibson, where else would you say you draw inspiration from?
Like I said earlier, artists like Janet Jackson, who's had an amazing long career. Tamia, I think she has just one of the most pure, underrated voices out there. An artist like Aaliyah, TLC. I had baggy jeans in every color back in the day. Just wanting to be like them. And just because their music was just so fun but real. They had really poignant lyrics as well. So artists like that, New Edition, Boyz II Men, those kinds of, Jodeci, all those kinds of artists back in the day. Yeah.
What's been your biggest accomplishment so far as an artist?
I would say getting this album done, this EP done, like I said, as a little girl, I always imagined having my own, back then I guess it was cassette tape, but, later on, CD. And, I've done that now, and I'm so happy. I just feel so blessed that, I've been able to do this.
What advice do you have for aspiring artists?
It's funny. The last track on my EP is called Tell Me I Can't. And, I always say it's about, for people, anyone that's ever been told that they can't do something, anyone that's ever, been kind of knocked down, told that they're not good enough. And not only by other people, but by yourself, you can be your own worst enemy, your own worst critic, and every time you have those voices in your head that tell you you can't do it, you just gotta tell them, tell me I can't, and I'm just gonna work harder. That's how the hook goes in that song, and you just gotta keep going, just believe in yourself, and you really can do anything.
Well, thank you for your time today.
Thank you.
And we'll see you on the 27th.